Hello and welcome back to Untitled Scales. My name is Michael and today we are having the pleasure of looking at the very first and so far only Porsche 992 Turbo S model. To the boys and girls who are tuning in for the very first time, thank you very much. Feel very honored that you are tuning into my channel and are interested in the model car stuff I am producing. As usual with these kind of model car reviews, first of all I'm giving you some general information about the model and the real car itself. Then I'm taking out my macro lens and we are looking at the model very close, and I can show you all the details you need to know and all the defects if there are any. And then in the end I'm doing a quick sum up and giving these models some scores in price, quality, details, rarity and significance. And then you can see them on a scoreboard, compare them to other reviews I've done so far. And all that is done to help you guys out to make a well-educated decision on your next model car purchase, so that you can see like if you want to really add that model to your collection and if it is really worth doing that. Even if you have lived under a rock, it must have been impossible to miss the information that Porsche has released the new top-of-the-line Turbo S model for the new 992 generation. They released it in a live stream because for obvious reasons the International Motor Show at Geneva was cancelled, and in that live stream they revealed the new 911 Turbo and the Turbo S cars in cabriolet and coupe form. Overall, Porsche has again made a wonderful car and did a solid job with the new 992 Turbo S. Biggest difference is mechanically 650 horsepower right now. It's a huge power bump from its predecessor and it's an incredible amount of power to have at your disposal. For us model car nerds, that's obviously not that important. Aesthetically, there hasn't been huge changes. Obviously, the new 992 rear light bar continues also on the Turbo S one, and that really is the biggest difference to the 991.2. So far, this year is the only 992 Turbo S model which is available. There isn't out a turbo model, not in cabriolet form or in coupe form. This year really is the only one, and it's made in 1/43 scale. Again by Minichamps, like all 992 models, only exception being the Christmas edition from Porsche Leipzig that was made by Spark. But overall Porsche chooses Minichamps to do the 992 models. What was a bit weird, let me say that for 2 to 3 weeks already this model has been out for sale and was available and is available in most Porsche centers and also at many online sellers. But here in Germany not. I don't know why, I don't get it. Here it was not available at any Porsche center and now everything is in shutdown mode, so it is pretty much impossible to get it at standard retail price. So you have to order at some online sellers for 10-15 euros more, which don't do that. That's not how you want to pay for model cars. But thankfully my friend from Exclusive Porsche Models, he organized me a model so that I can finally, after 2 to 3 weeks anxiously waiting for this model, produce some content for you guys. Thank you very much, my friend. But that is enough talking. Let me get my camera up close to the model and let's look at all the details. For this one, Porsche shows a silver color for the presentation spec, and this model again represents that very car. This time we are starting out with the bad things. Like in my previous review, here again, Minichamps did the rear light bar, and I really think, I hoped at least, thought that they made it better for the 992 Turbo S. I even had some red paint on the silver paint here, but I was luckily able to remove some of that. Again, Minichamps, if you're watching this review, you really did an amazing job with the rear light bar of the Macan. Please also do it on the 992 models. It really would be a pity if this quality here continues all the way until we have another 911 generation. But I really hope that they will change that, and I think at some point they will. Otherwise the rear looks very good. Equipped with the sports exhaust here, the turbo specific rear ring, and also the grills here at the top. They look really good. And also you can see the turbo air vents and these red rear reflectors. I think they all looks alright. Maybe the rear reflectors could have done a bit better. Even though the rear light bar does not look as good, the overall appearance of the rear model really does look good. Let's continue with criticism. Here on the side, I think they really could have tried to make the air intakes for the engine a bit deeper down. it really does not look that good. I've seen it better on some other model cars. What is on the other hand very well made are these wheels. This car is equipped with the standard turbo wheels, which are my favorite choice. And like all 992s, this car also has the stacked wheel choices with the 20-inch in the front and the 21-inch in the rear. Minichamps represents it very well. I measured the wheels itself. The fronts are 1.25 millimeters and the rear are 1.35 millimeters. So overall, Minichamps here does a very well job in representing the wheels. Also, since this is a Turbo S spec, this model gets a yellow calipers from the PCCB ceramic brakes, which I think is a very nice contrast to the overall silver body. A very little detail, which Minichamps did extremely well, and if I would make model cars, I would most likely have forgotten about it, the new door handle form. You see this little thing here, this is a bit different from the old 991 door handle, and I personally would have completely missed it when I would produce model cars, for example. So Minichamps here really did a nice job. And also here at the front, the side indicators are not just painted on, this is actually transparent plastic, which I think is a nice touch. So then let's also continue at the front. It looks really aggressive, this new 992 Turbo, compared to the older models, but I really like the overall front fascia of it. It does look good. What is specific to the Turbo are, since the 991.2 generation, these double daytime running lights. And here again, Minichamps did a nice job of using transparent plastic and not just painted them on there than on the normal 992 Carrera and Carrera S models. And then also a little option on the Turbo S here is the radar cruise control, which they have not missed. The lights itself look very nice, and the Turbo and Turbo S cars come with a better looking light option equipped. Which is missing here is a very little detail. There is in the lights itself a designation, and if I remember correctly on the last review I did of the Belgian Legend Edition, it was actually in there, but here it is unfortunately missing. But really, that is an ultra tiny critical point. Then finally, what is a bit of a letdown in my opinion is the interior of the car. I think they could have done this better. On the presentation car it's actually a black-red interior, but here on the model car it's all black. And then again, I don't want to talk about it that much. You can see the graphic for yourselves, the PCM screen. I don't know what this should represent, but it does not represent anything you can see on these PCM screens in the real life. I really hope Minichamps will change that also, but yeah, for now we are stuck with this one, and when the cabriolet version will arrive, this really will hurt the look of the overall model. Here it's on the coupe, it's not that noticeable. So overall, this really is a nice model, even though I think they could have tried a bit harder to make it this perfect one. They missed out on some stuff, I showed you that. But yeah, personally I'm hoping for the dark blue Turbo S, which was seen in the live stream, which was a bit in the background. This has a really lovely color. It should really be a nice model, even though I'm not a fan of these Porsche exclusive wheels. I like these one a bit more. So yeah, to sum up, let's give this model some points. Starting with price, our first category, 45 euros is the standard retail price at a Porsche dealer here in Germany. And yeah, this really is a good one and gets therefore 8 out of 10. Quality is alright. Minichamps did their job as usual and gets a standard Minichamps score of 7 out of 10. Detailed is alright again, but I give this one 1 point less because of this PCN screen graphic. I really don't like it in the interior. I think that really ruins a bit of the model. Here on the coupe it's not that bad, but when the cabriolet is coming out you will notice it all the time. I don't like that, and therefore it's getting a 6 out of 10. Rarity is low, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion. Giving it here only a 4 out of 10. Obviously this will not be the last 992 Turbo S model, and this is not a limited edition. Significance on the other hand is high. Giving it here 7 out of 10. This is a new top of the line 911, and this only happens once every 7 to 8 years for the new 911 generation. So this is an actual significant car in the Porsche history. Which means for our overall scoreboard that this 992 Turbo S model made by Minichamps in 143 scale is getting a 32 out of 50. Comparing it to some of our 143 scale Minichamps models on our detailed scoreboard, the Turbo S sits in the middle, benefiting from a low price and high significance score. I personally think it would have deserved a better interior and giving it therefore a higher detailed score. And if you want to see the detailed scoreboard, you can check that out via the link in the description below. So what do you think? Is this Turbo S model worth adding it to your collection? If you have one already, what is your opinion? Was it worth adding it to your collection? Or have I missed anything here in my review? Let me know, comment below. And before I'm sending you to some high resolution pictures at the end of this review, I would like to say thank you for tuning into my video. And if you liked it, hit that like button here down below. And if you're not a subscriber already, also hit that subscribe button here down below. Really helps me out of spreading the passion of Porsche model cars, and also helps me a lot of spreading the information to make good model car purchases. Maybe it also helped you. Thank you very much again for tuning in. Alla, ciao!